Hello again from my front porch. It's been a little while, but this time I was traveling, but not for work, believe it or not. This time it was a personal trip. And I'm not going to get into what the personal trip was. It's very good, very positive, but sometimes things just stay personal. Although I think that you're going to hear more about the some of it down the road. But I'm not going to get into that right now. What I am going to get into is something that happened during the trip. See, I was in Kansas City for several days and left right at Christmas time, and then just came back here. Not New Year's Eve, but New Year's Eve. But while I was in Kansas City, was driving along on one of the, because they have interstates everywhere, multiple lane highways all over the place, crisscrossing around. And I'm following my GPS and getting off onto an off ramp. And on this, there's, like everywhere else, there's construction all over the place. And on this particular off ramp, there's multiple lanes on the off ramp. And the lane completely to the left is blocked off for construction. And it had those orange safety cones, not the little short ones, but the big tall ones, the thin tall ones. And so those were all lined along that lane. And then I'm in this lane here. And going down, it's dark, I'm going down, and all of a sudden, boom, hear the sound, and I realized that one of those safety cones was sticking out a little bit farther than the other ones, and I didn't notice, and it just pop, clipped my driver's side rear view mirror, snapped that thing. I mean, it just, there was no, my rearview mirror is set up like a lot of rearview mirrors on cars and trucks where, it can fold in. It's on a swivel, it's on a hinge. It did not fold it in. It just broke it, smash, boom. And in fact, you're looking at the pictures right now of the damage that was done. I took them right afterwards so I could turn it in to my insurance. Now, some of you are already screaming I say that. And you're like, no, Paul, don't turn. But you got to find out how much it's going to cost because your deductible. Time out. I'll just take a quick aside here. That I don't get any commission from Allstate, but I have Allstate insurance. I have a really good policy with Allstate insurance, and it's a little more expensive to policy, but it's got a lot of wonderful features in it. One of them is the declining deductible. So each whatever period of time, half a year, whatever, that I don't file any kind of claim, the deductible, which is a $500 deductible to begin with, goes down. Goes down a notch. And it's been so long since I'd filed any claim that now I don't have any deductible. My deductible is zero right now, which means I turn in this claim for them to fix the mirror on the car. The deductible will go back up to $500 after this is done and work its way back down again, but the insurance will pay for the whole thing. I won't have to pay anything. So boom, that's the point of having it set up that way. So thank you for your concern, but relax. It's okay. But anyway, back to what happened. So boom, the mirror, and I'm like, I have to keep driving. And so we survived the rest of that evening navigating around. It's amazing how much we depend on driver's side rear view mirror when driving. You don't really realize how much you depend on it until it's not there and you keep glancing over. Oh, what's that? And you got to crane your neck and look back, or hopefully you have somebody else in the vehicle with you that can look and help you out there so you're not, cutting somebody off or running into something. But survived, did that. Well, the next day, one of the individuals that I had opportunity to be visiting with, named Mirzad, and there's Mirzad and I together. Wonderful guy, brilliant. Man, this guy is so smart. He's so wonderful to talk to because he's just full of so much knowledge, and not just like limited in terms of, well, this is his profession. And so, no, I mean, this guy reads up on everything internationally. He's aware of. It's just really, having dialogue with him was just really, really fun. But again, I digress. In addition to being really smart, heady-wise, he's a very practical guy. And even though he was not born and raised here in the Midwest, he obviously is instinctively Midwestern at heart because we're trying to figure out how do we fix this. And Mirzad shows up with baling wire and duct tape. And he proceeds to we were using some packing tape originally, trying to just attach it, because the goal, we knew the mirror wasn't going to work. It's too destroyed, not going to work. But now the goal just is, as we continue driving around and certainly coming back to Iowa, I don't want to get pulled over by the police. And I don't want to say, you can't drive like that. You just don't say. And so the goal is just to at least make it look like the mirror is still attached, even if it can't be used. And so that was the goal. But it's very windy. Of course, we had winter storm that blew through Iowa and down in Kansas City, and over the weekend. And it's like, oh man, the wind was blowing hard. Like trying to drive on the interstate with it like that was just going to be problematic at the best. So we set out and we're like, okay, so what are we going to do? Well, we're going to figure where we start wrapping all this tape around, and that's just not going to, because it's like falling right off. So Mirzad shows up with baling wire and duct tape. And so we proceed to do some of the duct tape. He takes the baling, he finds some holes that are there, and he starts looping the baling wire through there, and he's tying stuff off with it. We put some duct tape around the baling wire to help hold it in place. And again, still couldn't use the mirror, but it stayed where it was supposed to. And that baling wire hooked through stuff and looping in was a godsend, literally, because as we were driving, certainly driving back to Iowa on the interstate at 70, 80 miles an hour, that thing's over there going do 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 do. But that's it. It's just going like this. It's just shaking a bit. I can't use it as a mirror, obviously, but it's not falling off. It's not blowing behind it and the car behind me. It still looks like it's there to a casual person passing by. And that was the point. And so it's just incredible. I am so appreciative. Now, while he was doing that, I was already filing the claim. I was taking those pictures you saw to post on. So I'm doing that. And while I'm doing that, he's already going to town, working away on this thing. I was so appreciative that he just jumped right in and did that. That was incredible. I can't express my appreciation enough. It was a smart move, very, very practical, and it has continued to hold that thing in place. I did go to the auto body shop, I filed my claim, and then I went to the collision center this morning where they did the appraisal, the review of it to confirm that that's all it was and what they would need to do. And so now they have that, and in a few days they'll call me to say the parts are in, and I'll take it back and they'll fix it, that whole runaround thing. But the point is, all that's in progress. That's good. Made it back, no problems, and it continues to be fine. But as I often do, these things happen, and it causes me to think bigger context. It causes me to apply this little thing that's happened, and I think about it, and how does this apply in a broader way? And I thought, that concept of something being held together with baling wire and duct tape. I mean, this is a cliche. I haven't made this phrase. In fact, there's even one or two books out there on the topic. There's blogs. You do a Google search for baling wire and duct tape. You don't just see the products. You see all kinds of references to it because it's a standard cliche, especially a Midwesternism. But I think it goes beyond that. But I want to take it out of the physical, because in this case, I had a big need for a temporary repair that wasn't even designed to make it completely functional, but for a specific purpose. In this case, not to fall off, not to cause a cop to see me and pull me over, kind of thing. Very practical solution, but not a solution that's going to make it usable. Okay, so there's a very, very big distinction there. Well, let's talk. What if the baling wire and duct tape isn't physical? What if it's just mental? What if it's emotional? This time of year, today is New Year's Eve, and this is the point where people start making New Year's resolutions. They start thinking about, I don't like this about myself, I want to change that. I don't like this about my life, I want to change that. And that's cool. You have stuff you don't like, go ahead, go after it. Don't just wallow in feeling bad about it. Figure out, not big, little things that you can start doing to make yourself better. Go ahead. That's great for you to pursue that. But stop and consider how much of your life right now is already held together with baling wire and duct tape, figuratively speaking. You may be getting by. You may think, okay, I want to fix that because that's a problem, but I'm doing okay here. Are you really? I'm not trying to depress anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody feel, just overwhelmed. But as long as you're in the introspective mode of what do I want to do for myself to improve myself, don't just think about where you see the deficiency. Think about where you're barely getting by. Think about the things that you have had to cobble together, that you're limping along. Are you okay with that? Or would you like to do something better with that? Get that into the collision center. Get that fixed. Get that solid again so it's not, and you can actually use it correctly. I don't know. It was a thought that occurred to me that, I could keep driving around indefinitely with my mirror like this. It'd be dangerous. It'd be stupid. Probably eventually I'd get pulled over. Yeah. And rightfully so, because that's not. But the point is that mirror, at least as long as that baling wire holds, that mirror is not going to go anywhere. And so it'd be really easy for me to get complacent and think, that's okay. That's good enough. That'll get me by. Will it? Will it really? No, not in that case. It wouldn't. And what about in our lives? What about in our jobs? What about in our relationships with our friends, with our families, with other coworkers, neighbors? what in our life is maybe cobbled together like that in a way that it's precarious, but it holds for now? Then maybe we want to think about how do we solidify that and make that something that can hold firm. I don't know. Just me rambling. It's just, again, poof, this thing happened in reality, which causes me to think, how could this apply esoterically? Yeah, that's the way Paul's brain works sometimes. Sorry. So I'm just going to leave you with that. I don't know what you might be carrying that's just held together barely with baling wire and duct tape. Maybe your entire existence, maybe your sanity, maybe so much is going on. And if that's the case, well, then stop and think. What are you doing to fix those things? Because the baling wire and duct tape is holding for now, but it's not going to hold forever. And it doesn't fix whatever caused the problem. I mean, my mirror is fixed, but that doesn't mean that I can just go around and start hitting the safety cones again. It's held around baling wire. It'll be fine. No, it would not. You have to fix it so that the problem doesn't persist and you don't need to keep depending on those flimsy, well, I shouldn't say flimsy, because Mirzad's baling wire is pretty firm. It's holding really good. But that temporary fix is not designed for long term. It's like driving around on your donut. When you get a flat tire, you take the donut out of your trunk and you put it on. Yeah, that'll drive you for a while, but it's not intended for you to have that on there for a long time. It's not good for that. So be thinking about not just what's the big thing I want to do. I mean, that's cool. Go ahead, go for that. But also, what am I barely keeping together? What is tenuous? What can I address to fix that? Maybe that's a better, more approachable target, and one that could make your 2026 even greater for you. All right, enough rambling from Paul. With that, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time from my front porch.